Welcome to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Cary Quashen. I'm your host, but I don't host it by myself. I host it with Michael Doherty, better known as the Silver Fox. I wonder why we call you that, Mike.
Well, as I said, it's probably more to do with my hair than my bank account.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your bank account is.
I'm not going to tell. How you doing, Cary?
I'm good. You know that family, well, I'm kind of good. I'll explain that in a minute. But Families in Action is brought to you by your local hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We've been on the air now going on 13 years, a long, long time. So much appreciated to KHTS and the Goldmans. Thank you so much for allowing us to give the message out that we believe is saving many lives. And also brought to you by Action Family Counseling, which is alcohol and drug treatment centers. We do everything from outpatient to residential to everything in between. And the Action Foundation, which I'm going to turn over to Michael Doherty, or the Silver Fox, and he'll tell you about it.
One of my favorite things is talking about the programs that are in all the schools, Cary.
Yes.
Because that impacts so many people, including parents.
Because you know what? We're never going to get rid of drugs. They're going to be here forever. No matter what we do, no matter how many people we bust, there'll be new dealers and more drugs. So the way we're going to stop it is by hitting them when they're young. So the only thing we can really do is take the need away. You know, and then we could do that by two ways. One, we could start really young and really get kids to hardwire their brain to say no drugs. And number two is do interventions on people that are already drinking and using, and that we'll talk more about today. Because I was going to read this later, and I know you got some action items, but you all hear me read the horrible stuff that comes in my emails, right? But I got another one today that I want to just read, and this one is really good. I mean, the camera can see this maybe. It says, "Thank you, Cary. My daughter is here today, healthy and happy because of you. Because of you, we have 3 adorable grandkids. Brittany has been clean for over 10 years, thank you." Isn't that cool?
That is.
Now, this kid was 16, and they called me and they said, "We have her barricaded in a bedroom." And I'll never forget, I went to this house upstairs on the 2nd floor, and there she was, barricaded in the bedroom. They wouldn't let her out. So I unbarricaded the door and walked in and said, "Hey, my name's Cary." And she looked at me with that snarl in her eyes, and she said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm here to rescue you." And she laughed. I said, "Do you want to live like this?" She says, "Get me out of here." We put her in rehab, 16, and wow, over 10 years later, she's still clean. She's got 3 beautiful children and married and doing wonderful. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's a great success story.
So there's so many. I mean, we talk about the bad always, but we have more good stories than we do bad. Problem is people don't email me and text me like that.
There you go.
So when I get them, I'm like, yay! Cool, huh?
It is. You got to celebrate a little bit.
I know. We have 3 more success stories we're going to talk about later because they're going to be success stories, because if they're not, I'm going to strangle them one day.
I'm looking forward
including Lorraine.
I'm looking forward to hearing from them. That's going to be outstanding.
I know it is.
Hey, Cary,
So
we talked about something last week that we got so excited about. We even got Justin all worked up over this, and he's jumped in it with us. And to remind our listeners,
yes, please.
And for those who weren't tuned in last week, listen to this. We're talking about an interlock ignition device in every new car. Guess why? It could prevent 80% of drunk driving deaths. That's an amazing statistic. 80%? Listen to this. Every day, almost 30 people in the U.S. lose their lives in alcohol-related motor vehicle crashes.
Right here in Santa Clarita?
Yeah.
Go to the Youth Grove. I mean, not everybody there is there because of that, but there are many.
Yeah.
We lose many lives right here in Santa Clarita because somebody had one too many drinks and got behind the wheel of a car. Somebody did. And because of that, somebody died.
You know, there was a story on one of the channels this morning in their news, and listen to this one now. Drunk driver hits another car, injures people, takes off.
I saw
But
it.
after they take off,
Right.
They hit another car and injure
somebody.
yet more people.
A whole family was in that car.
Yeah.
Kids was thrown out of the van,
Yeah.
and the father died.
Yeah. So
That was
this is
yesterday.
One drunk driver hits 2 cars and just wreaks havoc. Listen to this.
By the way, you know how old that kid was, the drunk driver?
No.
20.
Lovely way to start your day.
And it was a girl, 20-year-old girl.
Bad news, bad news.
So she killed a father, destroyed a family, and she's going to prison.
Right.
Yeah, let's go have a drink and drive.
If we had these ignition interlock devices, she wouldn't have been able to be driving the car. Listen to this. In 2012, now this is a few years ago, so you can imagine where the statistics are now. 10,322 people in the U.S. were killed in auto-related motor vehicle crashes, accounting for more than 30% of all motor vehicle deaths.
Alcohol-related, you mean?
Yeah.
So guys, this is what we're going to introduce you in a minute, but this is what we're on a mission now. Our mission is we want before, when you get arrested and they got you down as a drunk, they put these things in your car. You can't drive until you blow in the thing. The car won't start. We want them in every car.
Yeah.
So imagine that. In every car, if somebody walked into their car and they drank too much, that car won't start.
I just want to jump in here real quick. I mean, it's a law that we must have driver's insurance. We must can't drive a car without insurance. Why would this not be included in insurance now?
Yeah.
And everyone that I had spoken to about this idea, people that drink love the idea. I mean, it takes, 3 seconds to blow. It's not inconvenient. The only time it's going to be inconvenient is if you're too darn drunk to drive. Right. Why would anyone have a problem with that?
And by the way, if somebody's sitting there saying, well, you just get a friend to blow into it who's sober, it doesn't work that way. It'll start the first time, but guess what? You have to repeatedly blow into the device. So once you're on the road, if you're drunk, you're going to get your car is going to not be running after a while. Listen to this. More than 1,100 of these deaths that I was just talking about involve children aged 14 and under. How sad. Universal installation of interlock devices could save 60,000 lives in just 15 years. And it only costs about $400 to put one of these in. And they already figured out that the cost to society, it would be paid back in just 3 years. Cary, they got to do it. Listen to this. I mean, if they want to hear some really big numbers.
I want to know why it's not done when people already has all the statistics. We're the only ones screaming about this.
Here's the thing. They do this for drunk drivers.
Right.
Now, if you're convicted, you're going to have to put one of these on in many states, including or cities. Los Angeles is one of those. Now, listen to this. Introducing interlock devices to all newly built vehicles would save around $343 billion with a B in unintentional injury costs over a 15-year period, while it would only cost around $400 a device. $343 billion saved. Oh my goodness. We got to do it, Cary. We got to do it.
No, we got to do it, and we're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to start pushing it some media outlets that I am involved in, and let's see if we can get this thing to work. I believe that we'll save 10,000 plus lives a year.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Hey, I've got something else here. This is the action file, but this is going to be something that people are going to want to participate in. Last year, when we did this, and I'm going to say what it is in a moment, we had so many people show up. If you recall, Cary, I was out there with you. I remember. This is the SCV drug take back. And listen to this. This is great. You got drugs? Turn in your unused or expired medication instead of flushing it down the toilet, which is bad for the fishies, bad for the environment. And write this down. Saturday, April 30th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You just drive up to Henry Mayo. Nobody's going to say, where'd you get the drugs?
You can hand them to Mike or me.
We'll be wearing the rubber gloves. The drugs go into a box, and then they are incinerated by the sheriff.
Actually, by the, what's it called?
Drug
the
Enforcement DEA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday, April 30th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that's brought to you by KHTS, Henry Mayo, the Santa Clarita Gazette, the Sheriff's Department, obviously, and Action.
Can you imagine leaving these drugs in your medicine cabinet, your child finding them, taking them, and overdosing and passing away?
Well, and it can happen.
I've dealt with that more than once. And where did they get them? From their parents.
Taking them to school and selling them.
Taking them to school and selling them. So now to change this subject, Mike. Isn't it Alcohol Awareness Month?
It is. I was just going to mention that.
I'm going to let you take over then.
April is Alcohol Awareness Month. Listen to this. Now, I had one action item. I'm going to put it down for a minute. I'm going to read you some stuff from having to do with alcohol. Teenage girls now try alcohol before boys. Listen to this. Teenage girls in the United States now start drinking alcohol sooner than boys do, a new study shows. This has become a public health issue. We really don't know why girls are surpassing boys. Drinking has become more socially acceptable. That may be one of the reasons, because girls typically reach puberty sooner. Some start engaging in risky behavior sooner. Okay, and drinking earlier. Young girls are spending time with older boys, so there's more exposure.
That's probably why.
There you go. That's a big one. Advertising that targets girls by promoting sweet, fruity flavored drinks such as wine coolers, and those are popular among underage girls who drink.
And those little Jello little deals
all that
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
Most strategies to curb underage drinking are aimed at boys. So they're not really targeting the girls. So researchers found that in mid-adolescence, girls are more likely to start drinking than boys. After age 19, boys went on to drink more than girls. Males still consume more alcohol, but the differences between men and women are diminishing.
There you go.
Wow. And we can go on.
No, you know what? We can do statistics and tell you how much money it costs and how many people lose their lives over alcohol. But instead of doing that, let's do something different. We got some guests.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say where they're living and what they're doing. I'm going to kind of let them go. So why don't you do this? Why don't we hand Lorraine the mic, and we're going to do a ladies go first kind of deal. And introduce yourself and tell us why you're here and what's going on and all that good stuff.
I'm Lorraine. I'm currently at the Pyru House. I'm doing a program of. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm doing a rehabilitation program. I've been there a week, but I've been there before. It's a amazing place with very, very knowledgeable counselors, and I probably am going to be there another week, and then I'll do an outpatient program, and it's a very good place.
So let me think if I can figure this right, okay?
Okay.
You were sleeping one day. You woke up, and you're going, gosh, life is really, really good. I'm going to check into action.
No. No, I was drinking for 3 days.
Okay.
3 solid days. And I was saying to myself, I can't get out of this funk. And a friend came over and called action and set me up and drove me over there. But I have a serious problem, and I have to abstain permanently.
Why?
Because it's going to kill me. It's absolutely going to take me out.
Why do you say that, Lorraine?
This time it took me 4 days to get over the
Detox. Withdrawals.
Exactly, the withdrawals. I was trembling for days and days. I couldn't hold a cup. It was dreadful, and my alcohol level, I'm ashamed to say, I should have been dead.
Yeah,
It was
you should have been.
358.
For a little bitty person like you,
And
should
I'm
have
4'11"
been dead. Yeah.
and 118 pounds.
How did this happen?
I've been drinking a long time. I don't know why. You know, a lot of alcoholics can't tell you why they start drinking, why they relapse. It's very difficult to pinpoint, but obviously there's some underlying problem, that's why I'm in action, that's why we have group sessions, that's why we have counseling, so I have therapy to get to the basics of why you do it.
So your friend came over and said, let's go.
Let's go.
Do you remember how you
in the car?
Remember how you felt when you hit rehab and woke up in the morning?
Terrible. It took, as I say, it took me 4 days. I could hardly walk. My legs were trembling. I had to go to the doctor. I was in the emergency room. I was I thought I was dying. And I think if I continue, I will.
You know, hate to say it, but you were dying.
Yes.
People, 20% of people that come off of heavy alcohol abuse without medical attention die. through withdrawals.
Yes.
Now, heroin and opiates and Vicodins and all those other kinds of things, you won't die. You'll feel like you're going to die. You'll feel like the end of the world is here and you get hit by a train. But bottom line is it won't kill you. Alcohol can.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Well,
most
obviously,
deadly drugs there is.
When I was younger, I used to have a hangover. By noon, I was fine. This time, 4 days.
Yeah.
4 solid days.
What are you doing different? Why do you want to be sober today?
Because I'm scared. I'm absolutely scared. Because I know if I do it again, and you take that one drink, you've got no defense against that first drink.
People have such a hard time understanding that.
Yeah.
And you guys can help maybe shed some light to that. When you're an alcoholic or an addict, you're good until you use once.
You see, that's it. I'll take one drink, and then I'll continue and continue. If I could take 1 or 2, I'll be fine. But that will not happen
Why not?
because I'm an alcoholic,
Okay.
and it continues and continues, and I overdo it, and I take far too much for my size, because you lose all reasoning.
Yeah.
And I will die.
How much
I
time
will.
sober do you have today, Lorraine?
I have 11 days today.
Isn't that cool? You look really good.
11 days.
Because I saw you a few days ago, and I was doing that little whatever
Yeah.
filming thing, and you look 100% better today.
Yeah, thank you.
Your eyes are shining. You got some color in your
Yeah.
cheeks.
Oh, I feel much better.
You don't look like
Well, that's
death
it. I
warmed
feel
over.
I feel great when I don't drink.
So guess what?
It's amazing. So I won't drink again.
Getting sober is really pretty damn easy. It just means you got to stop doing. You got to change everything.
Hmm.
Your friends,
Yeah.
your playground, your toys,
Yeah. Everything's
your
got to
thinking.
change.
Everything's got to change it. And I've been sober a long time, as you know, and I've been treating people for over 30 years, and I can tell you what, the single reason everybody relapses is 2 reasons. Number 1 is they come into rehab and they say, oh, I'm shooting dope, I'm using pills so I can smoke weed. So they convince themselves, I don't even like weed, so I'll go smoke it. And then they smoke the weed and they go back to their love always. Always. Not sometimes, always. And so that's number 1. That's the number 1 reason. And number 2 is because they want to go out there and hang out with the same people. If you're an alcoholic or an addict and you like drugs and you're around it, you'll drink. Or use, if not today, if not tomorrow, next month, or next year. You will do it again.
Yeah. Well, this time I'm scared. I've never been scared before. That's the difference.
Wow, that was a pretty heavy statement. Why do you think it's so different? I mean, I could see it in your face. I see the fear.
Because, I'm getting older, and
Well, you're at least 20, right?
I'm 25 now.
Exactly.
You know.
She looks good for 25, huh?
I thought she was 23. I'm sorry.
So I've got to be careful. And I have a new grandson.
Ah,
I've got to spend some quality time with him.
yeah.
He's precious. And,
What age is your grandson?
10 months.
10 months. Ooh, they won't be young that long, will they?
Yes.
It's a good thing.
And my daughter, while I'm under the influence, will not allow me near him.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I
Good
hate
for
to
her.
say it. Good for her.
I agree. She's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So that's another incentive.
And you know what? When you start really thinking about alcohol, drugs, grandkids, look at what alcohol has taken,
Yeah.
and go give your grandkid a hug, and
Yeah.
you tell me what feels better.
It ruins your relationships. Absolutely.
Makes good people do horrible
It
things.
does.
Turns good dreams into nightmares.
Jekyll and Hyde.
And
That's
at the
right.
end of the day, what you think is your best friend becomes your enemy,
Oh, so your enemy, definitely.
and it will win unless you stop.
Definitely.
Wow, you
Yes.
sound pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with you, Gina. You're a counselor over there, right? Just step into my office before we go on break. What's you thinking? What's the prognosis on Lorraine?
I've been there every time she's been there, and this time I see a change. I see the fear. It's there. And I have hope for her. I do every time, but this time there's a change.
You see the fear, huh? Mm-hmm. If you don't forget how you felt walking in that room, you'll make it. If you forget, you won't.
Yes.
So
I'll
on that note,
remember.
don't ever forget. And you never have to feel that way again. So when we come back from break, guys, it's going to be your turn. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. We will be right back.